Hello everyone, this is Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with another comparison series. Here we are going to be comparing the GP40 and the GP40-2. A little bit of background on the GP40 itself. It's a 4-axle diesel locomotive that was built by GMD, Electromotive Division of General Motors, between November of 1965 through December 1971. It has the EMD 645E3 16-cylinder engine, which generated 3,000 horsepower. The GP40 is 3 feet longer than the EMD 567D38 engine predecessor, the GP35, and distinguished visually by its three 48-inch radiator fans at the rear of the long hood, as the picture describes. While the GP35 has 2 large fans and a smaller one in between. It was built on a 55-foot frame. The GP35 was built on a 52-foot frame. And so was the GP7, GP9, GP18, and GP30. The difference in length can be seen in the GP40's 10 handrail sections compared to the GP35's 9. Total number of straight GP40s that were produced by GMD was 1,187. They were built for 28 of the U.S. railroads. 16 were built for one Canadian carrier, CN, and 18 were built for the 2 Mexican carriers. 60 units were built with the high short hoods and dual control stands for the Norfolk and Western Railway. And the 2 passenger versions, the GP40P and the GP40TC, which were also built on longer frames to accommodate steam generators and HEP equipment. On January 1st, 1972, the GP40-2 went into production. The standard GP40-2 produced 861 units. 817 of those units were built for the U.S. railroads, and 44 for the Mexican railroads. 3 GP40P-2 passenger versions of the GP40-2 were built for Southern Pacific in 1974. 279 were the GP40-2L, were the GP40-2W, and the GP40-2W were equipped with the wide-nose cabs built by GMD for Canadian National, and Go Transit between 1974 and 1976. Of the CN units, 233 were built with taller and lighter frame to allow a larger fuel tank. Those were classified as GP40-2L, but are commonly referred to as the GP40-2LW. The balance of CN's fleet, 35 units and 11-unit Go Transit fleet, use standard frames and smaller fuel tanks. They're often referred to as GP40-2Ws, but they are classified as GP40-2s. The total production of the GP40-2 and its variants total 1,143 units. Although the GP40-2 was a sales success for EMD, it sold fewer units than the earlier GP40 and contemporary the GP38-2 and the SD40-2 models. The high horsepower 4-axle diesels began to decline with the GP40-2, with the 6L models gaining in popularity for their superior low-speed lugging performance. Like the SD40-2, there are many GP40-2s that are remaining in active service today. They have a reputation for good reliability. Many of the Class 1s are still using these today. CSX, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, Canadian National, Kansas City Southern, and many more. So, a couple of more facts on the GP40-2. It was 62-15 ratio for gearing. EMD rated the GP40-2 at 55,400 pounds of continuous tractive effort, and had the PF21 module that reduced horsepower below 23 miles an hour, bringing the minimum continuous speed down to 11 miles an hour. So that is just comparing the GP40 and the GP40-2. You really can't tell a lot of the differences on the exterior, and you can tell they actually improved the reliability of the GP40-2. And the GP40 was very popular, and the GP40-2 was decently popular, but with the 6 axles, and the 6 axles became more reliable on the tough grades, and those two extra axles help out. And like the SD40-2 and the SD45, they all were 6-axle locomotives that I will be talking about in later series. So anyway, that concludes the GP40 and GP40-2 comparison. I hope this kind of understands what these two engines were about, and many of those GP40-2s you are still seeing in active service. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I thank you guys for watching.